Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly pick a card reading. So for my regular followers, this is for the week of the 24th of July to the 30th of July. If you just stumble across this at any other time, just trust that the messages in there are timeless for you. So I only date these readings for my regular followers just so that they know what week they're looking at. So for those of you that are new and you've never been to my channel before, welcome, and please just trust that there'll be a message in this reading for you. Let's get started. Okay, my friends, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3, and pole number 4. For pole number 1, we have the rondonite. It's actually, I think the light is actually really good today because I think you can really see the pink in that. So it's an acorn. So I really felt drawn to them, but they do sometimes roll around, which can be a little bit annoying. Then we have the argonite. It's quite a bit aventurine like, but a bit more creamy. And then we have the tiger's eye. Isn't that beautiful? And then we have the Dalmatian jasper. So my friends, select a pole that you feel drawn to, called to by the colour, the crystal, the pole number, whatever draws you, whichever way you feel intuitively guided. And if you're thinking, I'm not, maybe you just need to guess, or maybe you need to come back to this reading at a later time. Maybe the messages here are maybe not quite for you on the day that you find them. So just trust whatever your intuition is telling you, my friends. Allow that to be your guiding force, and pause the video if you need a bit more time to select. And a little reminder, of course, if you are drawn to select more than one pole, select as many poles as you feel called to. I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pole number 1. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this week. Just want to make sure that we can see that. So we have the King of Swords, the 4 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords. We have Flamingo Spirit with Embrace the In-Between. And we have Otter Spirit with You Are Never Alone. Overall energy is voyage and commitment. Do you know, I always love how the messages change as the cards come out. And then when I wait for the energy from Spirit, it often changes again, and I often feel that I would go about my readings actually really different if I didn't channel, like if I didn't connect with Spirit, and if I didn't wait for the messages, if I just read the cards as I had learnt them, or my readings would be really different. I feel the messages would be really different, and I really feel, pole number 1, I'm drawn to share that with you because I feel there's a sense here that it's the same for you. I feel there's a sense here with the commitment that you are never alone, embrace the in-between. I feel that there's a sense here of committing to something higher, committing to something deeper. And I think that's what this reading is all about, my friends. So Spirit's drawn me to start with the overall energies. So the overall energies is voyage and commitment. And I feel this voyage is a voyage of, I was actually going to say going deep within yourself, and then Spirit just gave me, it's a voyage of self-discovery. It's a voyage of I'm just getting this sense of bringing yourself back to life. Now, I kind of said to Spirit, oh, and connections, when you download, when you channel, Spirit knows what you're going to say before you say it. So half the time I get replies to questions I haven't even formulated yet. And Spirit's telling me that will mean something different to each of you. This journey to self-discovery is going to bring up things in all of you that is quite different. So Spirit actually doesn't want me to elaborate on that. It doesn't want me to ask, basically, what does that mean? These readings, my friends, are like a heads up, and don't ever underestimate your immediate thought that comes to mind. You know, when I say things like, this is a voyage of self-discovery. Was it excitement? Was it fear? Did you know exactly in what area of your life, or have an inkling? And do you know, I really get the feeling that some of you are prepared to just all throw it to the wind. I really feel with this voyage card, I feel you're coming from a defined space into openness. And I'm wondering if that is some commitments that are going to be tested. I'm also getting like a small fish, you're like a big fish in a big pond, in a small pond. To stop and think about that, because I'm going to get it the wrong way around. So I feel that you are leaving being a big fish in a small pond, and you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. That's a little bit scary, pole number one, but also that just means, wow, so many more opportunities, so much more opportunity for growth and evolution and gaining additional wisdom and moving your life forward and expansion. And I think, actually, I feel, I'm being told you are ready for this, pole number one. You are so ready for this. And you have commitment. And I'm feeling that this is there's a lot of different ways of looking at this, and I know that there's like a wedding here, but I feel in your reading, pole number 1, I feel that there will be commitments that are tested. There'll be commitments that deepen. There'll be commitments to yourself that I think for the first time ever you want to commit to. In your reading, and we'll see that when we get to the tarot. Actually, Spirit's bringing me to the tarot, so we'll come back. The tarot is all to do with this commitment card. I feel there's a sense here that your mind and your heart are at odds with each other. And I feel that's making you feel quite, I was going to say stuck, but Spirit said no. I feel like you're feeling limited. Thank you, Spirit. That's a better word, because you're not stuck and you know you're not stuck. But I feel that you feel limited by the commitments that you have made. The King of Swords, the swords has to do with your intellect, your mind, your reasoning. And I feel the King of Swords is the end of the journey of the court cards. So he has planned, he has taken action, he has stepped back and received, and now he finds himself in a position of power, if you like, where then he's got enough to give back, to be of service. So the kings for me are always of service, and they have reached that level of intelligence or the level of resources or the level of knowing to give back. And because this is the swords, this is the intellect, the knowing, the wisdom. And I feel that this King of Swords is kind of pushing you towards the new. It's like, gosh, you know, I know what I know. It's like the kings are almost like, they're not for me really an ending, because they then step forward and they're of service. So that's another path. But I feel like when you get to the king, that's when you give. But you're not, you are still expanding in a sense, because you are giving and things are growing around you, but you yourself don't. So you expand things out in the real world, if you like. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I kind of knew what I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure how to say it. So Spirit's coming through with a lot of information. So the king then goes back to a little bit like that night energy in the doing, but it's not taking steps to achieve what it wants to achieve. It's actually the doing of the being of service. So it's like if you were opening up a business, this is running your business. This is not the setting up of your business, if that makes sense, my friends. So you are running your business, so your business will expand and everything, and you will learn new things, but it's not that growth spurt of actually setting up your business. So this energy, I feel, is twofold. It is your mind saying, gosh, what more can I do? Okay, I've hit this level. Now, what can I What growth can I get? Now just remember, all cards, my friends, have a positive and a negative. All cards have contrast because all of life has contrast. So the King is also, well, the King is the energy that's telling you to move forward, and it's almost like you're getting caught up in your mind, and then it's your mind telling you that you can't, that you shouldn't, that you've committed to this business, you've committed to your clientele, you've committed to your job, you're under contract, you might have a rental property that you're under contract with. There is some form of commitment that then makes you go, I can't. And I feel with the Pentacles, you've actually got valid reasons, pole number one. It's not easy getting out of a contract. It's not easy getting out of a commitment, because some of you, this is maybe romantic. Might be a commitment that you made to your family and that you can no longer keep. And the Three of Swords here is, I just feel it's how your mind is betraying your heart. This reading, pole number one, however it plays out for you, in whatever aspect it plays out for you, it really is a mind versus heart. Now, Spirit's asked me to come back to the King of Swords because it's telling me I got muddled. So the swords is your wisdom. It can be your intuition as well. So it's that part that is pushing you forward. There is, like, your mind can get excited about this and kind of go, oh, this could be good. And that's when it's tapping into the wisdom, the wise part of you. And then it has another side where it gets afraid, and that's where it's tapping into that ego, needing to keep yourself safe kind of mode. And that's what's limiting you. And I feel there's a sense with these two pentacles, there's a sense of, I mean, he is holding tight to this one, but there is a sense that I think on some level you see the calling in this, you see the wisdom in this, but there's just something that you're finding it hard to let go of. It's almost like the higher you rise in your chakras, the easier it is for you to let it go. And the more you sink into your lower chakras, which of course are the more human ones, the more difficult. Because this king is giving you the for and against. This king is laying it out on the table for you. And that's making you a little bit divided. It's making you feel limited. And this Three of Hearts is saying, pole number one, you need to follow your heart. Your heart is good. Your heart is solid. So that shows me that your heart is in the right place. This is not foolhardy, though I think some of you may feel that way. It's just your mind is actually limiting your ability to follow your heart, your ability to see, okay, yes, and this might be a little bit difficult. I'm under contract. Or for some of you, you might be saying goodbye to a marriage. You might be, it can be anything, but there's going to be sadness and difficulty and disappointment. That's what this Three of Swords is. But I think in the long run, I think this is where you're being called, pole number one. Now this is the reading for a week. This is not the journey of a week. But I feel that this week, pole number 1, you're going to be really looking at how you've committed yourself. You're going to be looking at the commitments that you have, where you want freedom, where you want to almost maybe even recommit in a different way. So some of you, this might mean that you want to commit more deeply to something that you've got. You know, you might have a rental property and you want to commit even more because you want to buy it. Or, you know, instead of just doing a lease from 12 months to 12 months, you want to do, like, see if you can do a 5-year lease or something like that. But there is this sense that you have to ask. And I'm wondering if that's why, you know, Spirit pulled this card with the wedding on it. It's one of them had to have the courage to ask. The other could have said no, but the other said yes. So I feel there's a sense here, pole number 1, that it's not going to be as difficult as you think. It's still going to be sad, because as humans we find endings difficult. We are programmed, if you like, to see accomplishment in the duration of something. Accomplishment is staying in your job for 10 years plus. You know, we look at people that have been married for 50 years and we think, oh, wow. We don't look at if it's been happy or they're just together because that's just the way the cookie crumbled, you know. And I think that's what we need to look at. Not how long have you been together, but how happy are you together? Because a couple that have been together for 40 years, if they are both living their own lives and there's really no connection anymore and it's just habit and finances that keep them together and, oh, well, what am I going to do at my age? Go out and find somebody else. That is not a happy couple. That is not something worth celebrating. And I think that's something we really need to understand and look into. Now let's have a look at this flamingo spirit, because we have embraced the in-between. And I feel there are messages in, like, normally I see the in-between as like the in-between between reality and the all that is. But in your reading, I'm seeing the in-between as this in-between stage. This in-between stage of whether you're being called, you're feeling drawn to something else, and yet you're committed to something. And I feel there's this real sense here, pole number 1, that your commitment that you are in at the moment meant a lot to you at one stage. And I feel by embracing that and understanding that this was a good place for you. But we're not trees. A tree gets planted, and unless we replant it, it kind of stays where it is. It can't get up and move. We can. We are not made to be, to not change, to not have growth. In fact, nothing is. I mean, even a tree that doesn't move, you know, it still loses its leaves every season, and, you know, it still changes. It still grows. But I think you know what I mean. And I think this embrace the in-between is in this stage that you're going through, which I feel, pole number 1, doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable when we're arming and ahhing, when we're we're being pulled by both our head and our heart. We're being pulled by our intellect and pulled by our wisdom. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel settled. And you know, when you're in a boat and you're heading out of a cut or out of an enclosed area into the ocean, you know, there's tides and there's currents and there's wind, and this section here is often really confused waters. They're choppy. You've got the wind pushing one way often, there's undercurrents that are meeting, the waves are trying to come in and the currents trying to go out. So this is quite a turbulent time, if you like, for a boat. And I feel this is a turbulent time for you, pole number 1, but there is information in that for you. I feel that it's in this in-between stage that you really see what you want. You really feel what you're feeling, thinking what you're thinking. This is high emotions. But I feel there's a sense, like the King of Swords, this is the sword of truth. So there's an element that you are going to be honest with yourself, pole number 1. You're going to be honest with yourself and you're going to look at the truth of the situation. And like anything, when something doesn't resonate with us anymore, and it's time to change and let things go, to stay will never offer any peace. To stay will never, it's almost like you're keeping yourself in this stage because you never go fully back into it, because there's something that's guiding you elsewhere. You know, when a relationship is over, it's over whether we've left or not. And so we linger in here. And that's where the pain is, my friends. The more we can accept and move forward, this is tranquil. This is, you know, you're out of the choppiness, you're out of the confusion, and you can start to move forward. And that's a big message from Spirit for you. And in this in-between stage, I feel there is additional knowledge, there is additional aha moments. You don't want to stay here too long. You don't want to linger. You don't want to go backwards and forwards, kind of going to, oh, it's getting rougher and rougher. Oh, I better go back. And then you kind of come back and it's like, oh, I can't go in there anymore. I'm going back to what I didn't want to go back to. What am I doing? So then you head back out and then you get afraid and then you kind of dip your feet back in and then you kind of like, oh, I don't want this. There's wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and sometimes we have to do that to and throwing a little bit to get our mind really set on what it is that we want. When we finally head out, we are certain. But Spirit is saying the more you can be in the moment, feel what you're feeling, listen to what your heart is saying, acknowledge what your mind is saying as well, because it's throwing up your fears that obviously need healing or working through. I really feel that it's not going to be easy, but I don't think it's going to be as hard as you thought it would be. And then there's the final card, the Otter Spirit, you are never alone. And I think this is Spirit reminding you, my friends, that I've got you. I'm holding your hand through this. If you allow, Spirit is the current that's taking you out. And there is a sense here of allowing things to be what they are. And the way that we do that is through acceptance. And I feel this card is very dominantly saying, primarily saying, Spirit's here with you, your guides are here with you, God's here with you. You're never alone. Even if you are by yourself, you're never alone. Trust that intuition, those downloads that come to you. But I also feel that Spirit is saying, once you head out in here, it's very difficult to meet people. It's too narrow, it's too turbulent. People are in transit here. They're umming and ahhing, they're toing and froing. You don't pay attention through here. You're too bogged down in what you're trying to do or trying to avoid. It's when you come out into the calm waters that you can actually lift your head and go, oh, okay. And I feel that if you are by yourself, the right people are coming. The right jobs are coming. I feel the next stage of your evolution, if you like, your growth, is not where you are now. And I love how the Flamingo Spirit is looking at the Otter Spirit, and this is 1 and this is 2. I really, really like that. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light and blessings. Pole number 1. Take good care of yourselves and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 2. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what message Spirit has for you this week. So we have the World, the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Wow. We've been getting a lot more kings in readings lately, I find, as opposed to a lot of knights and a lot of kings. Additional messages, we have Dragonfly Spirit with Truth Transcends Illusion, and we have Owl Spirit, You See Clearly Now. Wow. We have The End and we have Ascend. Okay. Just grabbing the energies. Gosh, you've got the End and the World side by side. Overall energy, the End and Ascend. I don't know what you're doing, pole number 2, but there is a major ending here. Like, it's not endings, it says the end, the end. You know, when we get to the end of a movie, that's the end. There's not, I mean, unless it's a Marvel movie, there's always a little bit at the very, very end, isn't there? But I'm wondering if you're saying the end. I just feel like you're saying it's finished, that's the end. Now, what to will be different for all of you. But I really feel that, look, you've got a portal here, the portal of the World card, and I feel she's ascending into a portal. I feel like where you're going, what you're doing, is chalk and cheese from where you are now and what you're doing now. I feel that what you want now is completely different to what you wanted before and the path that you are on now. Because obviously what we wanted before brings us on the path that we are on now. And I feel that it's I'm actually like the words that I'm getting is, gosh, why did I ever think I wanted this? Why am I on this path? It does not resonate at all. And some of you are going to be actually quite bewildered with yourself, a little bit like, I want to say miffed at yourself, because it's kind of like, I've spent so much time chasing this, making this happen, and now you're looking at it going, I don't want this. Like, not at all. And there's an aspect of you that is like, what was I thinking? Now Spirit is saying to me, don't worry about that. The person that you were wanted that. But this journey that you're presently on has taught you so much, pole number 2. And I feel that it's opened you up so much that, of course, you can't want the same things as the you that started this journey, not opened, and with less wisdom and less knowledge and less experiences. So don't underestimate how your experiences have created who you are now. And what does that mean? It's brought you more into alignment with your authentic self. Your authentic self doesn't change. Your access to your authentic self changes. And that's why when we can gain wisdom from our journeys, from our experiences, it opens us more and more to our authentic self. And that's why we change. Our authentic self doesn't change. It's just that we access it more clearly, more deeply, more honestly. And that's what this is, my friends. And I feel in a general reading it's difficult to go, this is it, because there can be so many different people listening. But I feel that this is like a big aspect of your life, or all of your life. This will impact all of your life. Now Spirit has just drawn me to both these 43s. 43 on the end and 43 on the you see clearly now. This is a 7. In numerology, 43 comes to 7. And we are working a 7-year this year, my friends. 2023 is a 7-year. So I feel these energies are actually going to permeate through the rest of the year. I think the endings are going to be like rolling out until the end of the year. Your clarity, your wisdom is just going to keep growing and expanding and growing and expanding, because you're leveling up, you're ascending, you're becoming more aware, you're becoming more honest with yourself, you're becoming more aligned with your authentic self. And it's almost like pole number 2, the more aligned you become with your authentic self, the more that happens kind of exponentially. So what do I mean by that? I mean that it's a slow start to begin with, and we revert back to our ego self, and then we tap into our authentic self. But there comes a point where we've tapped enough into our authentic self to then just feel like every step we're tapping more and more into it. So then suddenly it's not as difficult. We tend to go back less. And the 8 is your personal power number, and the 8 is also the number we're going to be working next year. So I think this leads you into next year, but in a really, if you look at the word ascended, I want you to, and how you can apply that to your life, I really feel you are going to be walking into 2024 really awake, really aligned, really understanding. This is quite potent, and I feel in the rest of 2023 you're going to be ending things. You're just going to be leaving things behind. And do you know, you're really understanding why. I think that the more aligned we become with ourselves, the less painful letting go is. Because when we're aligned with ourselves, the process of not being in alignment is more painful than the process of saying, this is not for me anymore, and letting it go with love. You don't fight to hold on. You don't fight to control. There's a sense that life almost becomes that little bit more easy because you just get it, pole number 2. That's what Spirit's telling me. You just get it. And of course you do. You've got the dragon spirit, and it says truth transcends illusion. So the illusion of having a job that you've been doing for 20 years and people look at you and go, wow, I can't believe you've been doing that for so long, and you're just going to think that's unimportant. It doesn't sit well with me anymore. I'm not going to be somewhere that doesn't resonate with me completely and utterly. You're not going to look at time span. You're not going to look at Spirit's telling me there's going to be this matter-of-fact kind of energy that you are going to embody. Now, I kind of went, oh, matter-of-fact, could be a bit harsh. And Spirit said, no. What he wants you to know, what they want you to know, is that when you're matter-of-fact, you state things as they really are. When we try to sugarcoat things, or when we try to make things maybe more palatable for others, that's when we sink into illusion. That's when we kind of maybe say things that one are not really what we think and feel. We say things that the other might be able to save face with, or we might kind of say to them, look, I'm giving you an out. Or we might say to them, look, I'm not the person you want to be with. Or we don't tell the truth. And in the illusion, there's a lot more pain. When we're matter-of-fact, and it comes from a place of the soul, inner knowing, ascended higher wisdom, not only do we tell the truth, but we tell it with compassion and love and kindness. And whether that's received well or not, that's got nothing to do with you, pole number 2. But when the person looks back on the conversation, as we do as humans, and we go back through what was said, when it's done in that place, there is generally a sense of peace that will come to them, because there isn't an illusion that they need to decipher. It just is what it is. And when we're presented with things that are what they are, it's easier to reconcile with them. It's the illusion, it's that drama that we create, the stories that we create. We do that thinking and feeling that we're going to make it easier for the other, but in actual fact we're trying to make it easier for ourselves. We're trying to almost not tell the truth. And that creates like this web that people get caught up in, and then they kind of feel a bit tangled, and we sense a non-truth. We might not know it. We might not say to ourselves, oh, that's not true, but our inner guidance system kind of feels that there's something off with that. So then we, the other person, will create more illusion to try and decipher that. And then before we know it, we've got drama and we've got insecurities and emotions and past hurts that well up in everybody, and we've got a bit of a mess. So the truth, and first and foremost, pole number 2 being true to you, your truth, that's what sets this in motion. And then the truth to share with others. And you've got this energy of you see clearly now. And I find this clarity is going to help you, pole number 2. Even though this might be a little bit like, oh my gosh, it's a bit frightening. I mean, let's face it, we're humans. We've got those human security and fears and all that kind of stuff. But I feel, pole number 2, you've gotten to a certain level where it's almost like you can't not do it, because you just see so clearly that it's almost like, I just got an image of crossing a street when there's a truck coming. You see that truck so clearly that you just can't step out onto the road, because it's just like, it's not obscured. It's not foggy or dark, or the person doesn't have their headlights on. No, it's as clear as day. You see the truck coming, and therefore your mind can't even say, let's go. It just doesn't. And I think this is the clarity that you're getting. You see whatever you need to let go of. And for some of you, I think it's a whole way of life. I think it's across big areas of your life. If not your whole life, those major aspects of our life. But you see it so clearly, pole number 2, that you can't pretend the ending's not there. You can't pretend the change is not upon you. And do you know, that clarity helps. It really does, because it stops us from toing and froing and arming and ahhing. And you've got the world. I feel like you know that you're at the end of a journey. I think you actually really see everything that you've learned. You really see things that you've really overcome. Like you might have had a fear in a certain, you know, some kind of fear, let's say. I'm not even going to, there's so many fears we can have, I'm not even going to give an example, but let's just say you've had a long held fear of something. You've overcome that. And so every time when you doubt, or every time when you think, oh, I can't, that comes to you and you're like, yeah, but wow, I overcame that I never ever thought I would. So I am not the same person. And that's this, you see clearly. There's something that you can really see that makes you realize this person going through the portal onto a new journey, this person ending the previous journey, is not at all the person that started it. The world, this person at the world, this is the final card of the Major Arcana. This person is nothing like the fool that took that initial leap of faith. This person is going through the portal to a different leap of faith. And I really feel, pole number 2, you're ready. You're not looking maybe forward to the endings, but I feel like you're basically telling yourself, well, once I get past that stage, oh my gosh, I'm wondering if these are your words. I'm free. Gosh, what am I going to be able to do? I'm free. And I think you really need to allow those things to end, because you are so ready to take that leap of faith. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. And I feel that this is your clarity. I feel like this is what you can see at the end of all those endings. I love how she's moving forward but looking at the endings, so she knows the endings are upon her. And then this Knight of Pentacles is not, the endings are done. Now it can just look towards the future. Straight to the King of Cups. This Knight of Pentacles knows what it wants. It's a card, like the Knights are the action cards of the court cards. It's the ones that make things happen. And the Knight of Pentacles, and especially in your reading, I feel this Knight is really, because he's standing still, and I feel that this freedom, this new life, this putting yourself in a place where you've got new opportunities and change, has in a way cost you so much, or it took, because I think the past journey was a difficult one for you, pole number 2. So you're standing here now in your new journey going, gosh, I'm going to make this journey count. Everything that I went through brought me here, and I think you feel lucky here. Spirit's saying it's not luck, but that's how you're going to feel. You're going to feel lucky. And so you are going to make the best of this next journey. You're looking at it going, I am a little bit nervous, I am a little bit afraid, but I'm going to throw myself into this. I'm actually going to go for it. And I feel that that's this Ascend card. As we ascend, and the ascending is getting closer to our authentic self and spirit, the oneness of everything, and understanding that. And as you head up, you get more and more understandings, you get closer to that, so it's more intense, it's more clear. And I feel that with this clarity that you have, this understanding that you have, the seeing the truth, not just the illusion, this is not a ego-based goal. This is aligned with who you are. It's aligned with your soul. It's aligned with your emotions. It's aligned with your feelings. Your mind is even on board, I feel, with this. I feel it's just aligned with who, every aspect that you are, every aspect of yourself that you are now, that the path seems direct, the path seems straightforward. And that brings you to the King of Cups. And the cups are fulfillment. It's our emotions, it's also our feelings, those gut feelings, so our intuition. And it's the things that fulfill us, not on an ego level, but the things that fulfill us on our soul's journey. So they're our goals and purposes, they're our calling. So the wands is our calling and our purpose, but the cups is the fulfillment that comes from being aligned with those. So the cups is achievement, if you like. It is success. And the King of Cups is so aligned with who he is from his previous journeys that he holds the cup of fulfillment. He is ultimately fulfilled. And that can mean different things to each of you, because what will fulfill me might not fulfill you at all, and vice versa. We each have our own soul's journey. And I feel that's why this journey for you, pole number 2, is inevitable. These endings, even though not going to be pleasant to bring about, though they're not going to be that traumatic either, I don't feel, because you're just so open, you're so clear, you're so honest about what you want, where you're going, that I feel things are just going to respond to that. And when we are ourselves, when we are open and honest about who we are and what we want, it really enables the right people, the right opportunities to come into our life. Because we're not wearing the masks, we're not trying to pretend, we're not creating this illusion around us that then people try to decipher. You know, we wonder why we enter some relationships and they're just, it's like we're just playing games. You know, sometimes we might say to somebody, stop playing games with me. And it's just that one party or both parties have come into it with this illusion of who they think the other person wants that person to be. And therefore it creates this energy of just the visibility is not clear. There's this fog. So you feel like you have to decipher everything the other person is saying or doing. It almost feels like there's hidden messages. And that is exhausting. And you are just not tapping into that anymore. That's just not who you are. And I think you got so much clarity when you do, if you do try to build an illusion around yourself. There's so much clarity in you that you see yourself doing that and you stop. That's this ascend. You've really grown. You've really expanded. You've really opened up. And I feel this next journey is all about that. And I think it's going to be the kings are of service. And this is the king that is of service, that something that is fulfilling. And I think the fulfillment is not just for you, it's for others as well. Like, I don't know what you're doing, pole number 2, but it's a soul calling, so it's going to be beautiful. And that's not to say that on your next journey, this journey, you won't have challenges or things like that. No, that's it. That would be completely untrue, because every journey has to have contrast, so we can see what's what. But I feel you're so committed to being you and to being open and honest, that I think that, you know, when people do try to play games, or when there is a situation where one party or both parties transcend into this or descend into the illusion, I feel very quickly you're going to see the truth, and you're going to be like, oh, hang on a minute. Actually, do you know what? I don't feel like that. I said it because I thought it would make you happy, but actually this is what I need. And there's going to be this level of openness and honesty. And that permeates, pole number 2, through your whole life. Not just relationships, not just job, not just family or friends, through your whole life. Wow. And remember, this goes through for the rest of the year. This is really setting you up for quite a monumentous 2024. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light and blessings, pole number 2. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. So we have the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and the 8 of Wands. Wow. We have Cat Spirit with Claim Your Independence, and Wolf Spirit with Turn Knowledge into Wisdom. We have Return and Adventure. Yes. Gosh, a lot of the readings, like, well, pole 1 and 2 so far, has really been about moving forward, leaving things behind. You've got 2 10s. So, okay. Your overall energy is return and adventure. Pole number 3, there's something that is pulling at your heartstrings and calling you to go back to something that was. And your higher self, Spirit, says, don't. And my friends, you know this. You know it. You may not have allowed the knowing to surface in you yet, but you know this. And I want to say the pull is quite strong. There's a sense here that, and I'm seeing that with this 10 of Cups, and I don't think I've ever seen the 10 of Cups like that before, but I just got, it's a fairy tale. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're umming and ahhing about returning to, you're just looking at the good times. You're just looking at, well, yes, it was like that before, but now it's going to be different. And that is true. It will be different, because whatever you're going back to is not the same. There's been growth and change there, but you're not the same. But Spirit is saying to me, Spirit just showed me oil and vinegar. You can shake it as much as you like when you mix those two ingredients, but if you put them on a table and let them settle, they'll separate. And I feel that whatever you want to return to is the oil to your vinegar, or the vinegar to your oil. It's just not right. It's no longer for you. And Spirit wants you to see, Spirit wants you to be honest. You've got here turn knowledge into wisdom. Spirit wants you to be really honest with yourself. There is a reason why we leave things. Now, I'm not saying that we can never return to something that was before. But I feel we need to look at why we left. You know, sometimes we need to do some growing and learning on our own, or sometimes things need to align for us. So we need to leave it, follow another path, grow and learn, and then go back to that path. But Spirit is saying to me that that's not the case for you. So pole number 3, to go back, to return, is going backwards. It is almost like Spirit's giving me like a course, studies, university, whatever, but it's almost like, you know, let's say you got to the end of high school and you think, you know, it was, yeah, I didn't really like high school, but you know, if I had to do it again, I'd do it better. Oh, let me do it again. Instead of growing and furthering your studies, like growing and moving on and doing maybe a course or going to university or college or whatever it is, it's almost like you're saying, oh, I'll have another stab at it and I'll come out better. How does that thought sit with you? It's a waste of time. Why not move on and do more studies? You've passed, like you've passed your high school, like you've gotten, you know, the grades might not be perfect, but you've gotten enough to pass. This is not needing to go back to something to do it properly. This is just deciding, oh, I'm going to go back and give it another go. And it's, I think, because you're afraid of your other overall energy, adventure. I think going back feels safe. Does it make you happy? I don't think so, pole number 3. But I don't think you're looking at your happiness. I think you're looking primarily at, oh yeah, but you know what, I know all about that and it'll just be like safe and comfortable and small and it's easy. Thank you, Spirit. This is easier than this. That's what you think. going back to something that no longer serves us, that no longer is in alignment with us, oh boy, my friends, it is difficult to stay in an environment that does not mesh with you, that does not sit well with you, that does nothing for you. And when I mean that does nothing for you, I don't mean what's in it for me, but I mean that it doesn't enable you to grow, to expand, to learn. It's tough. This adventure, pole number 3, requires you to take that leap of faith. And once you've taken it, you land both feet somewhere. And so it's the unknown or the new that you are afraid of. But the unknown and the new become known and, I don't want to say old, but they become known and usual once you've done them. Imagine this is going to live in another country. The leap of faith of, gosh, I've got an opportunity to live somewhere else. You kind of leap and you land in that other country. And then you set about settling in. And once you're in that process, the new becomes your new mundane. You know, because then life carries on, doesn't it? You've got to work, you've got to eat, you've got to find shelter and cook for yourself, and there's dishes and there's washing and there's getting up early in the morning and setting your alarm or whatever it is, but that's the mundane. And that's what we forget. We see the new as like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? And yes, all that is unknown. But very quickly it becomes known. But you've got to take that step. If you just stay in the, I'm going to think about it, that's when it's really painful. Because you're not taking that step forward to actually do the thing that you want to do. And then it just stays trapped in your mind. So your mind is constantly giving you fors and againsts, all the fears that could come up. What happens if this happens? What would you do if that happens? And what about this? But they're all probable scenarios, possible scenarios, maybe situations. And we cannot constructively deal with those because they're not in front of us right now. So everything's hypothetical. Oh my gosh, pole number 3. I just got this like, oh, this is so exciting. If you are honest with yourself, my friends, this is exciting. You're so ready for this adventure. So ready for this adventure. And I think if you're really honest with yourself, you don't want to go back. Going back seems logical. But that's it. That's all that going back does for you. You've got cat spirit. Claim your independence. That's this adventure. I think you want to stand on your own 2 feet. I think you want to take a chance. It's almost like you've got this cat spirit's 9 lives. Come on, use a few. Take some chances. You are stronger, pole number 3, You are stronger, more independent, more clear on what you want than I think you're actually willing to admit to yourself. I really feel there's an aspect of you that is I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's an aspect of you that is lying to you. And I feel that you're lying to yourself about what you really want. I think you're lying to yourself about what you really need right now and what would really make you happy. And Spirit's pulling you up on that. Spirit's calling you out on that. And I think you've had experiences very recently, like I'm talking within the last week to a month, very recent, that have showed you that have showed you how you're not being truthful to yourself. And you know, I get these moments of this little burst of energy and of excitement, and I'm wondering if you've been trying to bury that, because they're just these little bursts and they're gone almost before I can grab hold of it. And I want to grab hold of it because it is genuine passion and excitement and oh yes kind of energy, and I want to grab hold of it, but it's gone before I can. Allow that energy to whelm up in you and hold onto it, pole number 3. Grab it with both hands. And I'm not saying, you know, we shouldn't try to control things and cling to things, but I'm really sensing that by really grabbing hold of it and looking at it, acknowledging that it is there, I think brings you to this wolf spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. You know, each of our journeys help us grow and evolve and learn and move forward and awaken and ascend and become more aligned with our authentic self. And I feel that if we don't tap into our experiences and the knowledge that it has brought and how it's impacted us and how it's called on us to change and to grow, we never access this wisdom. It's like we have all this knowing, but without the wisdom behind it, it's almost like the knowledge is what trips us up. Because yes, a child doesn't know all the danger that's out there. It hasn't experienced enough of life yet. You know, after a few broken relationships and job losses and worrying about where you're going to live or how you're going to live, you know, we can become a little bit jaded. We can become a little bit overcautious, over afraid. So that's our knowledge. Our knowledge shows us, oh, be careful. You know, there's a lot of risk in taking an adventure. You know, yes, it could be good, but it could be really, really bad. But the wisdom in that is, yes, my last journey, I went through all these things, but wow, look at who I am now. Look at what I can do now. Look at the fears I've overcome. Look at the clarity I've gained. That's your wisdom, when you can see that those experiences, whether good or bad, because there's been both, you can be sure of that, everything's contrast. It's the wisdom that enables you to go, yeah, but you know what? Every time I found myself up against a challenge, I found a solution. It might not have been brilliant. I made mistakes. but I still moved forward. I still solved the problems. I still achieved things. That's this wisdom. And that's what Spirit needs you to tap into, pole number 2, in order to take this adventure, this leap of faith. Because like we touched on a little bit earlier with this 10 of Cups, I'm seeing it's very close to the return card. And so I'm seeing that it's linked with that. And I'm just seeing that you've got this fairy tale mindset of if you go back, it's going to be everything that it wasn't before. Now, Spirit's calling to your attention that what you had before was more aligned with who you were. It became less and less aligned, and that's why you let it go. Now you've grown and changed even more. What makes you think that being more aligned with your authentic self means that what was is going to still be in alignment? It's this illusion. It's this fairy tale mindset. And this can be about a relationship, putting a family back together again. Maybe this is a divorce and you're looking at reconciling. Now, I'm not saying that that can never happen, but pole number 3, that's not where you're headed. And Spirit's telling me, you know that. Because straight after the 10 of Cups, you've got the 10 of Swords. And that's painful endings. So what you're trying to return to actually probably ended quite painfully. And because I can see this, maybe your past, your present, your future, I feel like it's going to end again. And this is just like triple confirmation that to return is not what is in your best interest. And don't just allow me to tell you that, pole number 3. I feel that energy of excitement that bubbles up in me every now and again. That's not my energy. This is not my reading. That's your energy. And just every time I try to grab it to kind of go, oh, what's that? It's gone. So you won't, that tells me that you won't allow yourself to entertain that excitement. Because I don't think you want to move forward towards this adventure. You've got the 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands is forward movement very, very quickly. It's almost like getting all your ducks in a line and then it's just going for it. There's no umming and ahhing, toing and froing, maybe not, stop, start. That's not the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands, they're true, they're in alignment with soul calling. Bam, we're going to take you there. There's nothing between the 8 of Wands and the adventure. What you once thought was going to turn into a life of fulfillment, a life like fulfilling a goal, a dream, that ended for a reason, and there's a new journey in front of you now. And you need to embrace that adventurous spirit. Dig deep within you, pole number 3, because this is your soul pulling you forward to claim your independence, to become more wise, more aligned with who you are, and not look at things how you wish they were, but how they truly were. This is probably not a reading that's going to be very easy to swallow, pole number 3. And you know, I often say, you know, and I think I said earlier, don't take my word for it. Access that energy within you that bubbles up. That's your truth. That's where your truth lies. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light, and blessings, pole number 3. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the 9 of Cups. We have Watch and Wait, and we have Use Your Mind Wisely. We have Sunset, and we have Land of Dreams. Oh, this is actually quite exciting. I'm just feeling so much anticipation, so much excitement, so much possibility. I almost, with these, oh sorry, that's probably not very well placed. With these, so your overall energy is Sunset and Land of Dreams. And I feel like you're going to feel like you go to sleep one day and you wake up the next in a complete different world. Okay, so that is not based in reality, if you like, but that's what it's going to feel like. I feel that this is coming in fast. And I feel, pole number 4, you're manifesting on a big level. Watch and Wait. I love this card. It's almost like, well, especially in this reading, but it's like Spirit saying to you, oh, my friends, watch and wait. And I just feel like you're just going to be like, what? The manifesting is use your mind wisely. So this is a magnificent week. And it's possibly, you know, a week is not a very long time, though a lot can happen in a week. And I think this week is going to be really eventful for you, things coming in. But I also feel just be flexible with those timelines, because I feel it can spill out beyond that. Because I feel like this is the present, this is the future, or the near future, and then that's the future a bit further down the track. So I'm not seeing the past here. Or maybe with this Sunset card. So the sunset, like I said, is probably your past. The sun is going down on something. I just got, you know how you just slowly close your eyes before you fall asleep? It's that calm, restful, and then you open your eyes and you're in the land of dreams. Now, figuratively speaking, but I think that's how it's going to feel for you. I feel like it's going to be like, it was like I blinked and it was like, boom, everything just happened. And Spirit's just saying, you're going to use up a lot of your energy, Crystal, so just calm, because this is really exciting, pole number 4. Really exciting. And Spirit's just saying to me, look at the 7, because the 7 is this year's number. So I'm not always drawn to it, but when I see a 7, I often am drawn to say, look, this energy or whatever this beautiful thing is, it's with you for a while. Like, it's with you for the next 6 months. Like, it's oh, actually less than 6 months, isn't it now? So I want to say it changes this year. And I'm wondering if some of you started this year maybe with a lot of unknowns, maybe with a lot of apprehension or not knowing. You end this year in a beautiful place. And I think this comes to you before the end of the year, definitely. It's not that far away. But I feel like if you look at the person that you were when you started this year and you look at the person that you are when you end this year, you'd think that you'd say to yourself, God, how can that be? It's almost like you've had a lifetime of transformation in a year. But this sunset card is gentle energy. This sunset card is, I feel like you've let the things that needed to go. You've opened yourself up to the new. I feel that you've been patient. You've tried not to force things. You've tried not to push and make things happen. You've accepted yourself and where you are now. I feel like you've accepted the part that you played in your life up until now. I don't feel that you're blaming anybody or trying to make amends with anything. I think it's almost like I'm getting this sense that you've made your peace with your past life and you've let it go. And it's real, gentle, loving, peaceful energy. And you know, you've got the seahorse spirit that says watch and wait. And I feel that's what you're doing. I feel like you're really embracing this watch and wait. And I think you're in that real receptive energy. You know, when the tide comes in, you look at what it's bringing in. When the tide goes out, you let it take out what it needs to take out. And the interesting thing is that you're not doing that because you know you have to do that. You're not struggling with that. I feel that there is a true, honest alignment in you where you just trust the process and what is happening to you, so much so that this place actually feels safe to you. It's like you can allow the tide to take the things that no longer work for you out, but you know it's not going to wash you out with it. It's not going to try and drown you. You're still centered, you're still balanced. And when the waves come in and bring you the new, they're not going to knock you over, because you know that they'll come in and you're not fighting them. This is beautiful energy, pole number 4. This is a place of acceptance where you just know you're in a space of pure allowing. This is a place of real honesty as well, because it takes great honesty to not fight this. And when I mean honesty, it's, well, I wanted to say it's trust, and Spirit gave me honesty, so I'm just going to say to Spirit now, well, what do you mean by honesty? Because I wanted to replace it with the word, well, I wanted to say it's trust, and Spirit's telling me it is trust, but it's honesty. So Spirit is saying It wants to use the word honesty more than trust, because it wants to show you, pole number 4, how you are making this happen. And the honesty comes is you are honest with what you no longer want, and you are honest with what you're now hoping for. So it's like that's your guiding force. So if, let's just say this is a relationship and you don't love your partner anymore, you are honest with that emotion. You are honest with that feeling. You are honest with where you are now. And so you're not trying to make excuses. You're not trying to sabotage the relationship or make the person in the relationship hate you, so then it breaks up in this big thing of thunder and drama, and you're just being honest. You're looking at everything through the eyes of honesty. You're not trying to trick yourself out of things or into things. And that's where the safety, that's why you feel safe in this space. That's why this, even though on some level, you know, it's not comfortable, pole number 4, there is a level of comfort with you, because you know that through this gentle space, once all the things that have that are no longer in alignment with you, once they've all gone, that's where the new can come in. And I feel that there has been a few new things filtering in slowly, and I think that's what's helping you trust the process. But you are making this happen with how honest you are being with yourself and with those around you, and how you are just allowing things to be. Which brings us to your other overall energy, which says land of dreams. And how can we access our dreams, our goals, if we're not prepared to let go of the things in our life that are not aligned with that? We can't. It's almost like we have one foot in our future and one foot in our path. That makes for a very fractured person, a very fractured life, because where is the joy or the happiness in that? You're not in your past anymore, but one foot is. But you're not heading towards your future anymore, because one foot's firmly cemented in your past. So there's this sense of, I'll be happy when, or I was happy back when. That's where a lot of our unhappiness comes from, pole number 4, as human beings. It's not being in the now, but it's because we've got, you know, part of us in the past and part of us in the future, and it's like, which one do we allow to win? And I feel like in this letting go, in this allowing, in this space of change, when you land in your future, it's the future of your dreams, because no aspect of you is going to be left behind in the previous day, if you like. Your past will be your past. Your past will be what it was. An experience that brought you here now. And then that will be the past that brings you into your future, which will be your present when you get there. And Spirit's just called me to look at the moon, the full moon with its clarity. This is not a land of dreams that is filled with illusion and wishes that you can't fulfill. This is clarity on your dreams, but on how to actually bring them to reality. This is not just based in fantasy. This is achievable, pole number 4. So what is Spirit asking of you? Initially, just watch and wait. And I think that's your present moment. There's a sense that this 8 of Pentacles is your present moment. There's in this watching and waiting, in this allowing, the toing and froing, it's in that space that the gift from the universe comes to you. And a seahorse is very gentle. You know, you see them, they've generally got their tail curled around a piece of seaweed, a plant, and they sway with the water. And there's something mystical and magical about them. And that's that swaying. And I feel that's this sunset energy. You've got this energy doubled up. You've got this energy that is so clear. And I really feel, pole number 3, this watching and waiting is not difficult for you. And if it is, then this reading has come to you too early. Watch it again, maybe this time next month, or maybe this time in a couple of weeks, or something like that, or whenever you feel called to. Come back to it. Because this is really your energy right now. Spirit also said to me, if this is not your energy right now, then look at why. Could be your mind that has gotten a hold of you, and there's just something that's clarity will come. It's just something that your mind has got you hooked on, and it's not enabling you to see clearly. It's not enabling you to find that peace here, but you will. For the rest of you, because I think the majority of you are in this calm place, for the rest of you, use your mind wisely. I feel is very connected to this land of dreams. I feel this card is saying, almost like the magician, what are you manifesting? Because, oh, excuse me, my friends, because this energy with this pig spirit here has the potential to, maybe you might want to stay here longer than you need to. This energy, watching and waiting, because all cards, everything in existence has contrast. So the cards have contrast as well. So this watching and waiting and this sunset with this pig spirit, use your mind wisely, is basically Spirit saying to you, pole number 4, this watching and waiting, allowing things to go, allowing things to come, being in the flow is beautiful. But if you don't move on from that when the opportunity comes, then basically this turns into sitting on the fence. And we can permanently watch and wait. Oh, I'm not sure if that's for me, so I'll just see what happens, and I'm just gonna, so we can, every energy is required on a journey, and every energy has the potential to put us in a comfort zone where we kind of want to stay there and not progress to the next energy when we get the calling. So there's this sense here of you will be getting the opportunity to move. There will be forward movement required. You are not going to be here forever. Once you've cleared your past, once you've healed and learned, watched and waited, allowed for the gift to come in, this gift from the universe, you need to take that and do something with it. If not, it's just an opportunity that it didn't come of anything. So use your mind wisely. There's quite a lot of messages in your reading. So Spirit wants me to go through them again for you. So use your mind wisely. Look at how your mind might be making this experience uncomfortable. How maybe your mind might be fighting this a little bit. Use your mind wisely because in this space you're starting to already dream. This says land of dreams, and I'm seeing it as in landing in your dreams, landing in what you want to achieve. So I see this as a future card. But here, as you're allowing things to come in, allowing things to go, you're already starting to contemplate your goals and dreams. This is manifesting energy. And so use your mind wisely is also asking you to look at where your mind takes you as to what you're going to manifest. So I'm seeing this as manifestation as well. And then finally, when the opportunity arrives, use your mind wisely. Don't allow it to get you trapped where you end up sitting on the fence, where you are so comfortable being in the flow you don't take action. You just always watch and wait. Because my friends, and I feel this is the present, I think this energy is kind of like this week. I feel this gift is probably coming in this week for the majority of you. This is an opportunity. This is something, and because it's a pentacle, this is something that is tangible. This is something that you can say yes or no to. This is a job, a home, money, a relationship. It's something that is based in our reality. And as I was saying earlier, the aces is a synchronicity, an opportunity that comes to you. But it just stays an opportunity if you don't take it and do something with it. So for instance, somebody might say to you, you might be talking to somebody that you meet at the shops, or a friend of a friend's, or something like that, and they might be going, oh, what are you doing at the moment? And you're like, oh, I'm in between jobs. And that's like, oh, what do you normally do? And it's like, oh, I did this, but I'm more interested in doing this now. And they'll go, do you know, I've got a friend who was talking the other day and they've got a position. Hey, do you want me to hook you up with them and see where it goes? That's the Ace of Pentacles. And it doesn't have to be about a job either. But it's this thing that kind of falls in your lap. Now, you could go, oh yeah, thanks, get the person's number and never call. Do you see what I mean? It's an opportunity, but you have to do something with it. You make it happen. But the gift is from the universe. It's a synchronicity that comes to you. And this is where the Knight of Swords comes into play. This opportunity, I think, is one that Spirit's saying, jump on pole number 4. I feel this is one that's going to have you going, oh my gosh, I don't know. Oh, but it's so good, but I don't know, but it's so good. This is very rapid energy. It can be rapid energy where you're running around like a chook without a head, or it can be just decisive, rapid energy like, yes, I'm going for this. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. But you need to take action, pole number 4. You need to run towards that pentacle and grab it. And I think with the swords, it's decisive. It is rapid. It's almost like Spirit saying, pole number 4, leap on this opportunity before your mind can start to fill you with fears and with doubts. If you jump on it quickly, your mind won't have time to create fears in you. I think this is going to be quite exciting, pole number 4. I think you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. And if you jump when that energy has hit you, your mind's not going to go, oh, but you know, I've never worked in this industry, and oh my gosh, am I going to be good enough? Or I don't know, is that like, it just kind of like, that happened a bit easy, it's probably too good to be true. Or, you know, your mind will start to twist it, so then this Nine of Wands might go, oh, I don't know, and then run around in circles, or end up running straight past it and not actually grabbing it. But the Pentacles is long-term goals and dreams. So this is not a job that you say yes to and it lasts 2 days, unless it leads to something better, because that's possible. You know, sometimes our journeys are long, sometimes they're short, and sometimes a journey is just a stepping stone or a transition to get us to where we need to be, because we're slightly out of alignment. I'm not feeling that so much in your reading, my friends, but of course, being a general reading, it could apply to one of you or some of you. But Spirit's saying, however this goes down, whatever this is, it leads to the 9 of Cups. And that's achievement and success and fulfillment. Not so much that you can retire for the rest of your life, not so much that you can just, ignore the rest of your goals and dreams. He's sitting on a hard bench here because he doesn't want to get comfortable. He doesn't want to get complacent. He's got more dreams and goals to go and achieve. But right now, he's taking pleasure in what he's achieved. He's sitting back and going, I did it. And this is where you're headed, pole number 4, to real success and achievement in something that truly fulfills you, something that is truly aligned with you. And I think it's this work that you've been doing, this honesty with who you are now and what you want now, and allowing everything that doesn't fit with that to just fall away. And that takes courage, and that takes dedication to you. And yes, there's contrast. Not everything's going to be easy. There'll be challenges and there'll be some things to watch out for. But all in all, what a journey, my friends. And I think it opens you up to so much more. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 4. Love, light and blessings, my friends. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.